We do. We have a wonderful email list curated by Laurie Hollinger. If you would like to know about more of our events, you can sign up as you leave at the table up there at the top. Thank you all for joining us on this very bitter week, meteorologically and politically. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Toby Altman, and I'm the director of the RCAH Center for Poetry, and it's a real pleasure to welcome all of you to our culminating event with Samiya Bashir this evening after a week of really amazing, wonderful events. I hope you'll consider returning for more events this semester. Speaking of our listserv, we have a very busy and very exciting slate of upcoming readings and workshops. I'll mention in particular our Spring Festival of Poetry, which we're calling Witness, Remember, Resist. We'll have readings and workshops throughout the month of sort of end of March through the end of April. So on March 26th, we will host MSU alum Carolyn Forche, as well as, along with Brad Johnson, who's this year's winner of the Wheelbarrow Books Poetry Prize. April 2nd, this one you're not going to want to miss, Era D. Matthews is coming for a reading. You'll also not want to miss the next one, April 9th. Kenzie Allen is coming for that event is co-sponsored with NAI. And then finally on April 19th, we'll host a summer slam organized by the former poet laureate of Lansing, Masaki Takahashi. And all of those events will be held right here at 7 p.m. in the RCAH Theater. If that was an overwhelming list, sign up for the email newsletter. We'll send you lots of reminders. In a moment, I will step aside and invite the Assistant Director of the RCAH Center for Poetry, the great Laurie Hollinger, to introduce Samiya. But before I do so, I would like to acknowledge the land on which we are gathered and the history of colonialism and dispossession that has shaped our presence on it. So I'd like to read a land acknowledgement drafted by the American Indian and Indigenous Studies Department here at Michigan State. Quote, Michigan State University occupies the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of the Anishinaabe, Three Fires Confederacy of Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi peoples. In particular, the university resides on land ceded in the 1819 Treaty of Saginaw. We recognize, support, and advocate for the sovereignty of Michigan's 12 federally recognized Indian nations, for historic indigenous communities in Michigan, for indigenous individuals and communities who live here now, and for those who were forcibly removed from their homelands. By offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm indigenous sovereignty, and we will work to hold Michigan State University more accountable to the needs of American Indian and indigenous peoples. Close quote. As we witness a particularly virulent, but not particularly novel, brand of American colonial machismo take possession of the White House this week, I think we are reminded that this fight for indigenous justice is a fight that belongs to all of us, that justice for indigenous peoples is a fight for a different and better world, a world in which we reckon with our history and stand in solidarity with each other. These questions and the possibility of a different and better world have very much been in the air at RCAH this week as Samiya Bashir and Daryl D'Angelo Terrell have given performances, visited classes, hosted workshops, and welcomed us into their extraordinary joint exhibit, These Are For You, I Hope This Helps, which is currently on view in the Lookout Gallery upstairs and will be up through the 21st of February. They are very different artists, but they both ask in their own ways how art can help in this moment of crisis, how it can produce justice, safety, solidarity, and healing. It has been an invigorating week, the kind of week that reminds you how expansive a life in art can be, how many conversations, communities, and art forms you can engage with. We owe a deep debt of gratitude to the people and departments who have been doing the hard work behind the scenes to make it all happen. In particular, I'd like to thank Steve Bybeck and his team of student installers who have been hard at work all week hanging and steaming the banners for the exhibit, the Department of African American and African Studies, the Creative Writing Program, Kresge Arts Detroit, and above all, Laurie Hollinger. Laurie imagined this residency with Samiya Bashir and also enacted it, conceptualizing its many moving pieces and handling with her effortless institutional skill the many logistical hurdles that came up along the way. This week is a testament to Laurie's dedication to poetry, to the community, and to the art form, and her vision for what poetry can be. So let's welcome her with a hearty round of applause and thanks.
Wow, I'm a little verklempt here. Thank you. That was lovely, Toby. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Friends, I am so glad to see you here tonight. I can tell you, you are really in for a treat. In my work in the community as a member of the Lansing Feminist Poetry Collective, the Voices of the Revolution, I had the incredible good fortune to collaborate with composer Adrienne Torf in a local performance of some work that she and the late, great June Jordan produced together in the early 2000s. Adrienne was fast friends with a poet who, in the early 1990s, decided to enroll at UC Berkeley just so she could study with June Jordan. Adrienne asked if I'd like an introduction. I spent a little time with the poet's website and with her latest book, put the back of my head back on because it had been blown off just by looking at those little things. And I could see that this is someone that our students here would really remember and who would be really moved by her work. So I told Adrienne, yes, please intro. So she did, and I can't tell you just how thrilled I was when she accepted the invitation to come here. And she's been here for nearly a week now. In these past 6 days, I've come to know her as likely the realest, most wildly talented poet, artist, performer that I have ever met. This poet, of course, is tonight's guest, Samiya Bashir. Samiya Bashir, called a dynamic, shape-shifting machine of perpetual motion by Diego Baez, is a poet, writer, librettist, performer, and multimedia poetry maker whose work, both solo and collaborative, has been widely published, performed, installed, printed, screened, experienced, and Oxford commoed from Berlin to Dusseldorf, Amsterdam to Accra, Florence to Rome, and across the United States. Sometimes she makes poems of dirt, sometimes zeros and ones, sometimes variously rendered text, sometimes light. Bashir is the author of 3 poetry collections, most recently Field Theories, winner of the 2018 Oregon Book Awards Stafford Hall Award for Poetry. Her 4th collection, I Hope This Helps, is forthcoming this spring from Nightboat Books. Her honors include the Rome Prize in Literature, the Pushcart Prize, Oregon's Arts and Culture Council Individual Artist Fellowship in Literature, plus numerous other awards, grants, fellowships, and residencies, including MacDowell, the Atlantic Center for the Arts, and the New York Council on the Arts. In addition to her books, Bashir has served as editor to national magazines and anthologies of literature and artwork. In 2002, she was the co-founder of Fire and Ink, an advocacy organization and writers festival for LGBT writers of African descent, with whom she worked through 2015. Formerly Associate Professor of Creative Writing at Reed College in Portland, Oregon, Bashir worked to create, employ, and teach, both within and outside of traditional academic settings, a restorative poetics which can acknowledge the despair often bred by isolation and turn it toward a poetics of light and its potential for witness, for healing, and for change. More recently, she led Lambda Literary through a year of growth, opportunity, and increased visibility and engagement bringing its essential programming back in person across the country. She currently serves as the June Jordan Visiting Scholar at Columbia University. She lives in Harlem. Friends, please help me welcome Samiya Bashir.
I stepped from the airplane. I stepped from the airplane. I step from the airplane. My hair melts dead air. I step from the airplane. My hair melts dead air. So many machines. I step from the airplane. My hair melts dead air. I walk quickly, click-clunk, click-clunk, click-clunk. Barbara Jordan, bronze and sober, glasses poised, the last me I'll see for 3 more days, and 3 more days forever. Outside, I slow the click-clunk to a 3-sound crawl, click, click-clunk, and etc. I am a woolly mammoth waiting at the cab stand. I am a woolly mammoth stuffed into a cab. I bear the long silence of my own extinction through the rear view. My head on the back seat, horns akimbo. I melt dead air. Blame humans for the loss of large mammals like myself, a new study suggests. The cabbie is my cousin. My cousin carts my husk to a dry diorama. The radio blares, the tide is high. The radio sings, I'm gonna be your number one. Thank you all for being here and sitting with me. I'm really grateful to be here, back home. Thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Toby. Thank you, everyone. And it's so beautiful to see so many beloved people. So I was warned, I'm just going to say I was warned that the tech was going to be like, no. And guess what happened? The tech was like, no. So what's supposed to happen now probably isn't going to happen. But that's kind of the beauty, because it's what was supposed to happen before, and instead something else happened. I was talking with Toby today about how interesting it is moving from, reading from field theories for the past many years into reading from I Hope This Helps, which is going to be out any minute, it feels like. And I don't know, it's exciting to do that at home. I hope this helps. You'll see it in the gallery later. It really is like an idea that I argue with, which is the very idea of utility in poetry. But no, I want this to do something, actually. The first poem in this book is terrifying to me, quite frankly. Because it oh, look at that, thanks. It sets me up, but also, let's go. This is called per aspera, which basically means through difficulty, right? Ad astra per aspera. It's on the moon, to the stars through difficulty. It's also like the state motto of Nebraska, which I love about that fact. Per aspera. We already know about the stars. Listen, we aren't all well. Listen, we ain't all well. This world spins designs which madden us, shape us like dough, bake us crisp. There may be those who will crumble us into paving for their own roads. Listen, we mustn't let them, but also, love, we aren't all well. We can't all resist as well as we might. We can't all fight enough or at all, and I can't say how we heal. I wish I could. I would. I'll try. Carry on. I'll try. Listen. Listen, we ain't all well. I'll try. So the poem I began with is early on in field theories, which is a whole expansion. And there's also a lot of moments in this book that truly exist just because they make me giggle. And also, like, I'm saying something, whatever, but I go, hee hee hee. So this poem that I really don't read very much anymore, but hey, I love that I opened to it. It's called Dag. We ain't even in Detroit yet? Shit. Stop here and let me get me some chicken. Then two women, one old and one young, pulled aside off the highway and into the poorly lit driveway of Popeyes off I-94 in a truck stop. They wanted to buy some fried chicken. One had a 5 and the other 3 ones, and together they purchased a 3-piece, 2 biscuits, a leg, and a thigh. And they let the poor girl with the pock-marked up face and the torn lace from panties caught up in her apron just keep the change. So she did. And she quietly squirreled away 5 for herself. And then later that night, after steaming in dark lint-lined slacks made of fake polyester and worn to a shine-smelling French fried and coated in salt stains, the dusty bill rose and emerged from that pockmarked girl's pocket and slid to the palm of the man singing, "Newport, $5. $5, who kept it aloft in his palm where the wind swept the frail, greasy paper up into the air far above where the man waved his smokes, far above where a mother was bent out her window, then down to the baby who leaned sort of safely up next to the gates. It fell right on his hand, which was sticky with Chef Boyardee or SpaghettiOs maybe, who cares? I mean, really, who cares? But the breeze and the bill and the man selling smokes, because Mama needs porch, so that kid, lucky kid, reaches up and gets lifted. I drive a lot. I like to go places on the road. Shall we? You don't have to bump the brakes. You just got to keep your eyes on the road. And there's probably something magical that's supposed to happen in the computer for this, but just imagine that keeps happening tonight. You know how the universe blinks and we exist for a minute or two with our classic hit stations and our marshmallows, our wars and flags and television and shit, Coke bottles falling from the sky to an old man's village, and the white people just laugh and line up to pay and laugh and get paid and laugh. That's what they made. He'll clean it up. This is the world, spinning its circle in the vast dark, and this is us arguing the same shit on a new machine, faster. The world stays unstable anyway. We work all day to excess, and for what? What will we make of it? Try to recall the red crest of a robin's breast in springtime. Springtime, when we fight our machines with our machines through our machines, it's the thought that hurts. When we stand one hand airborne, one finger on play. When we pump the volume up against the goddamn birdsong. Anyway. She even got a breast reduction, my friend said. That's how stupid she is, my friend said. An Anthropocene of wannabe hepcats wanting to be, but this is the world spinning in the vast dark, not any of the million spots we see in the night sky, but the one we can't. Rushing to the Serenity shop and fighting and hiding and crying and eating in our cars with our volume pumped against the birdsong. We are animals. We need orgasm regularly. Now, even that lies just out of reach to the ding of our nearby cells, a poke, a text, a like, a love, a comment. Well done. Well done. Yearn for the road. Ache for the unfettered journey. Grow weary of it. Namaste, the mat says. Killed people, kill people, it says. Shock, disbelief, wildly darting eyes, same old jive. Look steady through the pain. Go on. Trust me. Really take in the light. Word. Really take in the light. Go on, trust me. Really take in the light. You know, it's so funny, we were talking in class today. Like about accident and intent, you know? And like that kind of like flexibility thing, right? And also where the magic lives there. So I'm going to read a poem that also lives as a libretto for a beautiful like orchestral choral piece. And I would be playing you a clip, but machines aren't working. But it's a really beautiful story too, how this poem came to exist in the pursuit of writing this libretto, which couldn't exist until I'd written a poem, which is wildly different than the libretto that finally got to get written because I wrote the poem, you know? And here's the thing. Things fall apart. I am sort of sleeping, then I am on fire, undone, burned, stripped of skin. I feel so raw these days, flattened, full of doubt, numb. Rats thrive in sewers, so maybe I'm thriving. It may seem simple enough, but my dreams don't say so. This I think I know. No one notices me. Lost, alone, blind as a sewer rat, 6 feet back, gelatinous, raw as a baby rat, shook, underdone, too full rat, still hungry, rich rat, swimming sewage, breadline rat, baker rat, transformed, stuck in a well. Thriving. Burned into brick, road, milepost, sign. Triumphant. I scream, but words burn like sky fire. Clammy, street rat, fell in a hole, stuck in a well. I rattle the cages of our children. Everywhere else is empty. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, but I know the meaning of a moment like ours. Burning, I'm almost sure I'm here, transformed, torn apart, average, boring, humdrum, numb, no sound stays innocent. I am fluent in fire, fluent in indigo miseries. I am fluent in the absence of heat. A rat on the street, sudden and melt. I am fluent in how time presses a body. Here's the thing I'm not supposed to say. I saw others skulk the dark like me. Simple enough. I skulk away a little more each day. Maybe there's intelligent life, but I'm not it. How will we survive this having a body, trying to be intelligent life? Fireball struck and stuck. I study the crows who know this, having a body to fly, almost a dream, a sign you're not supposed to notice, a path. Who can I be? Blame the apocalypse. It's sudden. It's melt. It bends. It never ends. Thing is, things fall apart every day. The end of the world is now again. Normal. I burn and remember having a body, how it feels, cold. If I hold no beauty in this slapdash world, then tuck me away from the heat of the day. Alone, I burn. Blame the humdrum numbness of the end of the world. Listen for the wind. Intelligent life. Where is it? No sound in innocent means root, way. I am not saying I'm a prophet, but I always travel slightly singed, pressed by time. 6 feet back, I find the me who's tall as a gum tree, the me with copper hair. Causeway me. Opening, expanse, eyes open, heart full of doubt. I strike my fireballs and burn, sort of dreaming, now volcano, now oil-slicked river, stripped of skin, fluent in the press of time. Body clammed, voice raw and syrup stripped. Eyes open, sewer rat, thriving, no sound stays innocent. Rats. Footpath, corridor, clearing, and yes, the bushes burn like sky fire, and I decide to survive, claim every sunrise. I am dark as earth. Now I am me with the bright yellow hair, me with the normal girth. Wait, normal. Do I know that word? Did I ever? Is it normal to hang from a tree? Is normal inability to breathe? Is normal, are normal these panic attacks? Does normal stand whole? bodies back, tucked away from the heat of the day. Listen for how to survive this body. Face twisted, slightly singed, fueled by my own crisped flames, condemned. I know the meaning of a moment, but here's the thing. Am I intelligent life? How can I tell? The crows know. I know I'm not road. I'm doorway. And when things fall apart again, I'll be here, my rectangular shade of blue. I'm not supposed to talk about transformation, though. Not the me with the hollow cheeks. The me with the blood-red stride, fluent in the need to dance. Me with moles in 14 places. Here. Having a body, me with 3 nose rings, normal. I grasp for a branch, normal. I thrive, gutter rat. Me with the war wounds, the burning quiet of stars. The crows know. Who else can I be? Who else can I be? Who else can I be? Let's see what the field has to say. A little Disney on Nancy. That's how that happened. Oof. I don't know. Okay. So you'll see in the gallery there's this video that is a remix of a poem. The poem is called At Harlem Hospital, across the street from the Schomburg. The only thing to eat is a Big Mac. Which was for years.
We are hungry, we are a stopped carousel. We are our own shadow. We are want of touch. We are biting, we are hungry, we are a stopped carousel. Still, somehow we are carousel. We are surgeons in operation. We are everybody we love. We are inside them. And we will die too. We know that much. We are bodies dropped to the floor. We are shaking. We are our own. Still, somehow, we are laughter. We are the doorway out. Still, we are somehow, again, we are laughter. We are our own shadow.
Still,
Of touch.
somehow we are
We are biting.
carousel.
Hungry. We are a stopped carousel.
We spin bodies back
Somehow
to the wall and back.
We are surgeon in operation. We are everybody we love. We are inside them.
We are
And we will die.
woman and man
We know
and
that much.
man. We
Bodies dropped to the floor. We are shaking. We
are
our
surgeon and operation.
own. Still, somehow, we are laughter. And we will die too.
Still,
We
somehow,
know that much.
we are carousel. We spin bodies to the wall and back. We are woman and man, we are surgeon and operation. We are everybody we love. We are inside them. We are inside and we are laughing. We are man and we will die too. We know that much. We are our own shadow. We are want of touch. We are woman and man, don't look. We are curvature. Look. We are train. We are star. We are big, tiny spiders. We are crawling. We are biting. We are a stopped carousel. We are bodies dropped to the floor. We are shaking. We are our own. Still, Somehow, we are laughter. We are the doorway out. We are, again, the doorway in. Is this fun? How y'all doing? Yeah. All right. I'm gonna just kind of like dance between the two, and we'll see what happens. And every now and then the machine might do something right. Animals in storm. Go quiet. No, something's about to happen. Respond or pay it. No, never mind. Animals in storm. Go quiet. No, something's about to happen. Respond or pay it. No, never mind. No, something's about to happen. Animals in storm. Go quiet. No, something's about to happen. Respond or pay it. No, never mind. Also, the Central Park parrots. Fancy. Unlike the city old elite messenger pigeons abandoned to the street, to our days-old bread. Also how the Italians say crow, corvo, and these seagulls, evil-ass ocean geese. Also, us, a twirl. Botheredly unbothered, we step over each other. We are all out of days-old bread. So, I was asked to write a poem about Taylor Swift or something. I feel like about's not the right word, but maybe like in conversation with, and I just, okay. You know when like someone, it's like, oh, will you write a this? And it's like, oh, will I write a that? And then also it's like, I couldn't name a Taylor Swift song if you had a gun to my head. Like, I just wouldn't know. Which is, I'd be like, I hope that's her, But then this magical thing happened. So the lady who loves Taylor Swift and has put together this like badass collection of like all your favorite poets, and we're writing some weird poem for Taylor Swift. Came out a couple months ago. It's called Invisible Strings. 113 poets. I know I'm seeing the Swiftie moments over here. I'm loving it. 113 poets on something Taylor Swift. Anyway, so yeah, she sends me these 3 songs, and it's just like, tell me what you think. And I listen to these 3 songs, and one song immediately went to like the time-space continuum around me kind of thing. And it was like, oh, wait. You get the whole moment of this thing, the song, right? The thing, the da 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 da. And now you have something actually to say back. And the thing, so I wrote this poem after this song. And in no way is it like shade to Taylor Swift, but also in no way is it like love to Taylor Swift. It's just like, you made this thing, and it made me think this thing. Wabenzi walks. Wabenzi is a funny word. Look it up one time. You'll be like, what? Because voices, like bodies, shadow, linger and are torn apart and linger, are torn apart and linger like the 1,000 eyes of night. A scorpion, a Cuyahoga, a river burns awake, cries that we're the mom, not the kid, but wait, we are not a fairy tale. Even fairies fail our families sometimes, somewheres. Why did you leave? Years ago, Metric's Combat Baby was all over my face feed. At the time, it was right on time, and all I wanted was to remain unlooked at. Even today, sort of just like other people. Here's the thing. I don't want to hold on to you, dear. I don't even want to hold you. Why should I? Have you seen me? Lucky, lucky. Though I hope you are held. Well, just. Also, point of privilege, says the board of directors, directing all the women how to brush their hair in mirrors on film. Why didn't you leave? Low-priced luxury goods. Click like. But wait, no kings, no horses, ideally, no men, fire emoji. We eat ourselves until we're gone. Well, I do. How about you? Fire emoji. And the colored girls click like, 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 frowny face emoji. See me? I'm listening. Here you are. Yes, you here. A night flight lit from my fire, asleep while I need to dance. Look at you. Fire emoji. You hear you. Cut R. Hear me? Shh. Listen. Repeat. Footsteps. Shh. Listen. Repeat. So I think I'm going to close this up with a thing. So there's a long-running project called MAPS, a cartography in progress. It's in progress. It's happening. I don't think it'll ever end or be finished. It's against finishing. And you'll see this video in the exhibit upstairs. And you'll see the communion wafers with poems for you to eat. Please do enjoy. Eating poetry is delicious. But also it lives in the body. Like normally, if I'm going to really perform maps, like what I would also have for you is seeds with poems that I give you. And probably maybe more poems to eat on the chair for you. But we're going to go upstairs. And so what I'm going to do, though, is we're going to read through it, the poems, the maps. We're going to take the journey. The video will happen simultaneously. And I think it'll be a thing that happens. Sit. Jump. Sit. Sleepless. Drop. Conjure. Fly. Large. Large. Secret. Yes. Question yourself. Question all those who meet you. Doubt. You were given birth to by notions formulated in heads. You were not a child.
Question yourself.
You were not a child.
Question all.
You were not a child. You were not a child. Breathing, just like anybody else. Exist. Think. Yes, that's the word. This is not the heavens. Unless there are. Unless. 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 When your uncle speaks on your behalf, wonder of friends, creatures of fiction, whose likes and dislikes are a blood relation. Leap to the tongue. Prodigious imagination journeys to a region solid and prominent, ceased to exist as beings. numb of soul. You are not yourself, anyway. Numerous doorways are enabled through forest without any clearing. Stone steps too numerous to count. In the wake of the old man, there was a girl, a butcher, knowing what knives of destiny await.
When your uncle speaks on your behalf.
She taught you how best you should make use of your own body. She assisted you like the day's shadow from the purposelessness of our own body. Your soul, your brain. She couldn't hurt herself. Not then, anyway. Was this why she went?
Whose legs?
She nourished you. A body totally her own, young as you were, needy and self-sufficient. She could choose to be herself, walk about in the nude if she wanted. When awake, if you were the only person in the room, she cursed people in her language. It didn't matter whether you understood or not. What mattered was the look in your eyes, surprise or incomprehension. Yours and hers, because of her relations with you, you became a controversial topic to many. She was from somewhere else, up north. They treated her despicably, calling her all sorts of things. No one took the trouble to reach the bottom. Who was she really? To you, she was the cosmos. Hers was the body upon which you're growing, nourished. It didn't matter in the least whether she came in or not, if she had been a warrior or no. She meant the world to you. No one else needed her as much as you, as often as you. When she wasn't with you, with a self-abandon, you cried and cried. With a self-surrender, some say she bewitched you. Some say she bewitched you. From your first encounter, you didn't like the way he outstared you. You paid her all attention, leaving you more or less yourself. Your eyes, the look described as wicked, satanic, did not appear at all convinced, not quite a being. Perhaps this explains why she exists. Primarily upon the fortune of different kingdoms, the living and the dead, disappointed again. Allah is the space and time of all Muslims. Allah is the space and time of all Muslims. Allah is the space and time of all Muslims. Allah is the space and time of all Muslims. But not you. As usual, resist. She had organized her life around you. She awoke not to say her prayers, but not to attend to your needs. Was she you? Even-legged, sure-footed, but then how could? But then how could? The small world of darkness cast by your stars, you touched yourself in order to be reassured in bed. The priest was in his foulest of moods. You are touchably there without reassuring yourself. What am I to do then? Be accommodating. You are insane and you are jealous. You are never alone. So much so that I see you all the time. You smell of urine.
Question all those who...
Why can't we just marry, you and I, and let our bodies join without odor and cries? We cannot. in body and spirit too, and know I can be yours only in sin, only in sin, only in sin. Imagine you, and burst into tears, and burst into tears, and burst into tears, and burst. Picture the truth. You lost count how many times you were frightened. You remember little kindnesses extended to you. Shunned, cried, touched. You justified scolding yourself. You didn't want children. You justified scolding yourself. You didn't want children. You justified scolding yourself. You didn't want children. Children. You didn't want children. You began to reason thus. You didn't like children because, as always, daughters busied themselves as women, caring for infants with broken hearts as though they were little girls. In retrospect, part of you admired these girls from a distance anyway, climbing up a wall or basking in the sun. The life-giving aspects interested you. You once said it was the visceral dislike of children's babble, their mechanical contrivances, the noise, demands, the surprise, listening to you suffering from some complaint you had no name for. You ate 10 times as much at 4.5, weighed a ton, nicknamed Monster, hearing mothers say, "Why have you made me a monster?" Why have you made me a monster? You tell the story, but suddenly features change, expression. That's enough. Change the subject to something trivial. Tell a story until your breathing slows, shallows, knee-highs. Mothers were generally indulgent. First, then ruthlessly rigid, strict. You imagined constant loss all the time. Instructed women, in their best, tottered past them. Some can afford indulgence. Some see angels and marvel. Some have no children and are thus blessed. Many admire adults who admire them. And finally, 10, numb of soul. You are not yourself anyway. When your uncle speaks on your behalf, wonder of friends, creatures of fiction, whose likes and dislikes are a blood relation. Large, secret, doubt. You were given birth to by notions formulated in heads. You were given birth to by notions formulated in heads. Yes. Question yourself. Question all those who meet you. Sit, drop, conjure, fly, exist. Think, yes, that's the word. That is not the heavens unless you were not a child breathing just like anybody else. Leap to the tongue the way blind eyes tend to. Numerous doorways, solid and prominent, are enabled through forests without any clearing. Ceased to exist as beings. Prodigious imagination. Journeys to a region in the wake of the old man. There was a girl. A butcher. Stone steps, too numerous to count. In the wake of the old man, there was a girl, a butcher. Breathe in the wake of the old man, there was a girl. Breathe, a butcher. In the wake of the old man, there was a girl. Breathe, a butcher, knowing. Breathe, what knives of destiny. Breathe, await.
taking some Q&A.
Yes.
All right.
Well, there you go.
I'm keeping the house lights up just a touch so that we
I
can
want to see you.
see who's raising their hands, raising a question. And I do hope you'll join us upstairs in the lookout gallery for a reception book signing when we get through your questions.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll project.
and I will repeat for the world to hear.
Incredible. So you started us off talking about how the new project is in part about thinking about utility and resisting utility, and then the machines were resisting utility. So I'm wondering if you could say more about that and where you find utility useful and where you're trying to resist it.
All right, so here's the thing. Honestly, I have to say, I couldn't have hated that more than I loved it. Like, you know what I mean? I was just like, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. You know, like, let's go. Let's just be absolutely ridiculous. Like, the way everything was, like, so planned, and this was gonna happen, and da-da-da, and then boom, and then you'd see this, and boom, blah, and literally everything was just like, and it just started about 5 minutes before I came out, and then was just like, nope, we're not actually not gonna do anything you think we're gonna do. And it was just like, hashtag the world, check. Okay, then what do? You go, you figure it out, you do what you can do, you know, and the utility thing, right, is that I hope this helps. So how can I, no matter what happens, try to do something that helps?
I'd be curious to know, when you first began the video projects and the layering of the sounds, and then delivering the poems orally as this is all, what prompted you to do this, and what was the effect you were going for?
Well, thank you for that question. So what's the visit? That's the question. What the visits? There's a way that I've been noticing a lot of the, like, not just like the non-textual work, but also the textual work, you know, that there are just constantly layers of things happening. You know, there's never a thing happening. I'm standing here, and however many of you are there in here are whole other worlds and lives happening. You know, you're looking up here, and you're not even in my body at all. I'm the only one in my body. How weird, right? But look at all these other, you know. And so, the way, like, video and image and what work with the body is because, like, first of all, I believe in light, you know, and multiplicity. Like this poem being here, this is, I think, the last poem in Field Theories. And it's also one of those things that kind of makes me giggle because the title is a big old nerd thing. And I'm talking about the Big Dig, which is the biggest water tower in Ypsilanti. And so all over the world, I've explained that I was born in a town with the most phallic building in the world, according to Wikipedia and them. You know, and it's like, but wow, but what? 2017 was so many worlds ago. So many worlds ago. And also now. We read in class yesterday this June Jordan poem from like 1982, Sea to Shining Sea. Highly recommend. Google it. Boom, boom, boom. And the terror is, it was like it could have been the inauguration poem for Monday. You know, so like, oh, well, yes, all of that, all of that, all of this. And so videos, you know, like with maps, like it was always that my body would be interacting with this. And also what has happened is I have transparencies for the audience. I mean, I like to get y'all involved in it. Like there are seeds, yes. There are poem pieces to eat, yes. But also some people, like I like working with students on this, and they're just like, oh, can you be the person that like holds up this at some point? It's just a word you can see through it. The light will shine through. You know, a phrase or a moment. You know, so also, you know, we're in a deeply ADD culture. Like honestly, like we can't even process only one thing happening at a time anyway. So how do we like actually engage with that and be like, oh, this and this and this and this, and what do we draw? What if we draw the connections and, you know, or let you draw the connections or sketch some connections and see how they finish. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
I really love how your writing sometimes feels like just a train of thought, just like an ongoing sentence in it. Like you kind of interrupt yourself sometimes and with like a different thought and stuff. I guess I just wanted to ask what exactly your writing process was like. Is it just you write it all down, or do you have to think? Of course you think deeply about your poems, but
I do not think deeply at all. Wow, that would be kind of sweet, but like it feels relaxing. But I feel like that's, this sounds ridiculous, but it's cool. Like I feel like that's the field of what I think we mean when we talk about voice. You know, like that's how I talk. And at some point, writing how I talk is what makes the most sense. Like what I'm gonna write, like how somebody else talks, like that would be queer. You know? And in the end, like I'm talking to you queer. This is a conversation. I'm not just like pronouncing to the world. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, but like, no, I'm not saying I'm a prophet. But listen, you know, like, yeah. And like, also, I know in the world where sometimes like people, like my grandmother was hilarious about, think I like talk really weird. And it's just like, yeah, I know, I kind of like talk poem. It's like my language is field theories, you know, that I had this amazing moment when the book first came out, because I was in Oregon, and you know, these like science bros kept coming to the readings and trying to like trap me on the physics, right? Listen, and it wasn't even them, because they know me, right? But yeah, so, but it's like kind of like, yeah, talk to me about Planck's constant or something to break it down, the formula. And I'm like, first, the formula's in the book. And second, like, I did tell you what I did, like, I wrote the whole poem. That's how I talk. That's how I explain it. You know? And something about, like, okay, accepting that you're weird or whatever that means, but then being like, okay, what if I commit to just kind of like being honest? Then it'll probably be all right.
thank you.
This is a little bit off of the accepting that you're weird, and also it feels like I'm going to tell you it's a generic question, but I'm going to tell you why I'm asking first. The normal world is always trying to get a straight line out of the poet, right? So who do you reach out to feed you, to trust in, to inspire? Who are your, whether it's visual, film, what are the things that you're looking to now to reaffirm where you plant yourself in your art?
Thank you for that question, Newcomer.
I didn't want to say
Poet
who's your
laureate.
influences. That's not what I mean.
No, I know that's not what you mean. But also, like, the way it's like, the hilarious thing is, like, my answer right now is, like, I've watched about 17 seasons of Survivor. Oh my God. Like, I never, this show's been on for 25 years. Who knew? It's been on, there's 47 seasons of Survivor, people. And I hope it helps. And I find it's helping, quite frankly. But right, because, but why? Like, thank you for knowing. I know, sir. So really, it's like when I think about like what are the filmmakers, what are the image makers, what are the, it's really like I can certainly name things like I love go to Maidan so much. I want to hug him all the time, like, and be grateful for what he's made. And I can go down a whole long list here, right? But also, it's not just what we are making, but it's that we can make this thing that always astonishes me. It's like I'm in airplanes all the time, and yet I'm forever like, I can't believe we are all the way up here on this what? Pressurized, look at the little TVs, it's weird, you know? And so I'm so mesmerized by that. And then to see what everybody does with it, it's like, oh, everything from Glenn, from Jordan Emerson to Survivor to, you know, oh my God, I saw this movie Flow recently. It's like an animated movie, but not a kid's movie, and it's gonna be an Oscar upset or something, but it's about this cat. It's everything, just trust me. Flow. It's like, you know, the end of the world is now again. I mean, it takes place in the reality of climate change with remnants of humans everywhere, but no humans.
So when these streams of consciousness are coming at you as gifts, so to speak, right, or everyday conversation
I like gifts, actually. Thinking about them as like tiny little fast.
And you've got to grab them and put them together. What is your process as far as you can have a million little fragments, but then it's arranging them and putting them in order? How do you know when you're done? And how do you capture those moments, those gifts, as they come at you?
I pour a lot of things on the floor, quite frankly, and I put a lot of things on walls. You know, when I think about like how to make a book, that's the only way I gotta like have anything. I'm about, I need material and I need to be able to move with it, and it's like a big slide puzzle of poems or something, you know, and sometimes, like when I'm writing more prosy things too, especially that, it's like, what's happening here, what's happening here, what's happening? And so it's like, it's very visual, even though I say I'm not a visual thinker, but that's not true.
I just saw upstairs, stop.
Well, yeah, it's like, that's not true, but also I'm like, oftentimes I'm like, I don't know how to do this thing, but I feel like I need to do this thing. You know what I mean? And then I gotta figure it out, what that means, right? But like, I'm not someone who's just like, I know how to do stuff, let me figure out what to do. No, I'm like, I need to do this thing, but I have no idea.
But how do you know when it's done?
How do I know when it's done? When I can like go to sleep. You know? Like when I can like, yeah. I mean, like this book, it was really, I read the first poem and like I just at this moment, like as the book is just about to come out, like, I'm still kind of mesmerized by it, you know, by the fact that like I remember the stone in the forest in Western Washington where I sat and first wrote that first poem, which was quite late into the making of this book, but which immediately was like, oh, that's the book. That's what this is. You know, finally, clarity. This is what this is. And then it was like, oh shit, what? I'll try. To what? About how we heal? Fuck out of here. Who are you? But then there was a moment that I'll never forget when in one of the rounds of proofing, I got to the last word in the last piece, whatever, and I was like, I think I did it. I think I did this thing I said I was going to try to do, which is deeply necessary to me, and also I think maybe not just me, because I'm an I and I person, I'm about a we, I don't believe in this individuality so much. And so it's like it's done when it can do the thing. You know?
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.